I'm going to move. secret place where the sound of the crowd is so far away, and you take my hand, and it feels like home. We both understand it's where we belong. So how do I say goodbye? We both have our dreams, we both wanna fly. So let's take tonight to carry us through the lonely times.
Good afternoon. Nā mai, haere mai, koutou katoa. I'm Diane Strong, and on behalf of Bryn, Raina and Aaron, I want to welcome you and thank you for coming today. You all, close and extended family, beloved colleagues, friends, Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Christopher Luxon, and other distinguished guests. Each and every one of you honour Lyn's life here today with your presence. And I do know that your love and your support have been and continue to be appreciated by the family, more than words can ever say. I also want to extend a very warm welcome to those joining us via live stream, from those gathered locally in our cathedral to those of you in your homes and workplaces, both nationally and to others around the world. Please know that you are very, very much in the room and a vital part of this celebration of Lyn's rich, remarkable life. Just a little bit of housekeeping. The exits are clearly marked, as are the toilets, and in case of emergency, you would be directed to your nearest exit. But other than that, the main focus today is that you sit back and share an impact that Lyn has made on your lives throughout her life. First of all, I want to say that Lyn would be absolutely horrified to be the centre of attention here today. She would much rather be back somewhere, I think, in the 5th row, nestled amongst her colleagues and out of the limelight. That was her usual modus operandi. Never at the front, only on the front line. It's inevitable that today there'll be tears shed. But knowing the woman that Lyn was, and is hoped for and requested by her family, we can expect some laughter too. So I'm sure with a very strong team effort, we can do that for her with a fair bit of irreverence and honesty. Let's go back to the beginning. On the 26th of July 1962, Lyn Fleming made her arrival in Blenheim to the very proud parents of Ray and Colleen, joined by her siblings Carol, Woody and Joe. And they eventually made their home up in the Howard Valley near the Nelson Lakes where they farmed. And that's where Lyn developed a love of the land and outdoors. And that was truly her happy place. Lyn's first calling was as a nurse, but unfortunately youth stood in her way, so she headed off to attend the University of Life. And there she excelled, until finally settling on her 8-year nursing career before heading to the police. Now, we really shouldn't let the truth get in the way of a good story. So in 1986, Bryn came into her life as a superior officer. Well, that superior part was pretty short-lived, because when the flames were ignited, they very quickly became equals. They married in 91. Actually, I think that was quite an inevitable event, because when you come across Bryn and Lyn, they sound like Bill and Ben the Flower Pot Men, don't they? Destined to be together, rolling off the tongue. They settled in Auckland before Lyn won the battle to settle in Nelson, back where she could access that happy place at the Batch and the Howard, and they arrived here in 1994. They created 2 incredible humans with the arrival of Raina and Aaron. And as a mother who encouraged her kids to be involved in various pursuits, Lyn also became heavily involved in Irish dancing and her beloved netball. Now, some might say that netball was her passion, especially those she played alongside, coached, encouraged and supported at any level. Lyn literally breathed netball, which we will hear about soon. In her youth, she also played hockey, softball, and she played the piano. But hiking in the mountains with her brother Woody, or alone, was her true joy. The old trick of head down, one step at a time, that was Lyn's mantra. Our family travels included annual trips camping to Tautranui, and that's when Lyn's organisational skills really came to the fore. Come drink time, oh, we need a bottle opener. Lyn had one. We need ice. Lyn had it. Lyn had it. And all other travels were wrapped around netball, around the country, which gobbled up most of her annual leave. However, she and Bryn managed a memorable canal boat trip from Amsterdam to Budapest, and I asked Bryn, what were the favourite parts? Without batting an eye, he said, the beginning and the end. By nature, Lyn was just the most wonderful mix of humanity, trustworthy to the highest degree, and always kept any good deed she had done tucked under her belt. Suffice it to say, Lyn saved lives. She always put others first, but she did that willingly. She was fit. She was stubborn, and a virtual Energizer bunny. She could just keep going and going and going. So Lyn would set her mind to a task and do it, no matter how long it took or what mental and physical energy it required. Lyn would doggedly see it through. Now, her organisational skills were just second to none, and she was adept in ensuring everything was in its place. And of course, she would be the one who would turn the light out as she left the station with those tasks completed. Lyn was practical. She was hands-on. She thought of solutions intelligently and constantly. Her brain really was the epitome of rust never sleeps. Now, I'm going to be very careful here. No one would call her a muppet. The most useless police person ever trained, I believe. But definitely, everyone here could acknowledge her as the matriarch of the Nelson Police Station. So knowing that Lyn was just so immensely humble, a very caring person and a woman who allowed her actions to speak volumes. She lacked an ego, never sought fame or the limelight, even though she really often deserved it. Some of you may not know that Lyn was multilingual. English, te reo Māori, and it is fitting to see her cloaked in the korowhai today. But Lyn also spoke the language of love, and she spoke that eloquently with her demeanour and her actions. So while I'm speaking of her achievements, the greatest and her proudest was without a doubt her family. So I'm going to pass over to Aaron to begin the family tributes, followed by Raina and Woody, Lyn's brother, speaking on behalf of her siblings and the wider family, and then John Routhen, who'll come and speak representing netball and the Nelson Girls College.
Words are not enough. Over the past 2 weeks, I've heard so many versions of this expression. I've said it myself in moments when nothing else felt appropriate. And it's absolutely true. Words are not enough to convey the grief, the pain, and the sorrow we all feel at the loss of Lyn Fleming. But today, I want to talk about another way in which words fail us. You see, words have power over us. They're symbols, sigils. A few lines etched onto paper have this ability to transform complex ideas from one mind into another. It's a kind of magic in a way. Yet for all this power, words can't come close to describing the character and the strength of Lyn. How could they? For they are only words, and words are not enough. Raina and I share the unique privilege, the honour, of using the word mum to describe her. Such a powerful word, which brings with it so many fantastic others: teacher, counsellor, confidant, occasional matchmaker, eternal supporter. I could list them for days, and they would all still fall short of capturing what she means to us. How could words ever hope to come close? For they're only words, and words are not enough. To our father, Bryn, she's a wife, lover, partner, companion, through good times and bad, through sickness and health, a constant. To her parents, Ray and Colleen, a daughter, their child. To her siblings, Woody, Carol and Joe, beloved sister. Other words were probably used as well, but this is neither the time nor the place. Each of these words fractures into 100, 1,000 others that tell beautiful stories of lives better lived for her place in them. Yet even the sea of stories falls short, for they're only words, and words are not enough. Her colleagues in police have their own words to describe Lyn: mentor, matriarch, protector. My personal favourite, firm but fair. In these tales, we learn of a person with an uncanny knack for recognising potential and for doing whatever she could to ensure people grew into it. With a look, she could express not that she was disappointed in you, but that you should be disappointed in yourself. I got that look more times than not. Through all of this, she had this incredible ability to avoid recognition for everything she did. These words give you a glimpse of the life that she led as a police officer, as a boss, an employee, as a colleague. But they're more than glimpses, for these are just words, and words are not enough. Through her role in the netball community, words like coach, manager, selector, mum on the sideline that just kind of got involved and it just went from there. All of these immediately dissolve into myriad others. Passion, knowledge, enthusiasm, devotion. I note there are many overlaps between the words used for managing an effective netball team and managing a station full of police officers. Whether that says more about netballers or police officers, I'll leave that for you to decide. Yet again, these words are a hollow reflection of the depth of admiration that those that worked with her and alongside her had for her. For they're just words, and words are not enough. To those in the community who knew her, either personally or professionally, new sets of words emerge. Some shared, others unique. Respect, care, compassion, empathy, dedication, selflessness. A true friend. Among the words of support we've received, there have been deeply personal messages from people whose lives have been made better or even saved through her actions. I take great pride in knowing that Raina and I aren't the only people who are alive here today because of Mum's efforts. In moments of vulnerability and pain, where others were unaware or unavailable to aid people in their struggles, she filled that void and helped give people a pathway to something better. What hope do words have for conveying the value of a soul like that? They can't, for they're only words, and words are not enough. So if words can't even describe the incredible person that is Lyn Fleming, how could they ever hope to honour her? For all their failings, there is still power in words. We can use this power to preserve her essence. Through stories of time spent in her company, of the brightness that she brought to the world and everyone in it, we can continue to hold her in our hearts and in our minds. In the times to come, recall with fondness a moment with her that steered us down a path to a better future, and cherish the memory of the incredible person that led us there. But there is also power in action, and it's through these actions that we can truly honour her, by following her example as a parent, as a police officer, a coach, a mentor, a member of the community, to strive for our own potential and to help others to reach theirs, to be generous with your time, to be compassionate and empathetic to the needs of others, to recognise problems before they occur, and to be part of the solution. This is but a fraction of Lyn's legacy. It's a heavy burden, but we can share this responsibility together. By being the person that she inspired us all to be, we can leave this world a better place than we found it. Words may not be enough, but maybe this will. I leave you now with my own words, inadequate though they may be. The words of a son in pain, but whose heart swells with pride at being able to share the stories of a mother with a world that grieves alongside us. Mum, I love you. Always have, always will. I'm the person I am today because of you. I know you are so proud of Raina and I, and all we can do is aspire to be worthy of that pride. And I am sorry for all the fuss. I know you would have hated being the centre of attention like this, but you've always deserved this recognition for just how special you are, and today you're getting it. Feel the aroha, the love in this room and beyond, and know that it's all for you. You've worked so hard, for so long, for so many. Rest now, and let us carry your torch from here.
Aaron and I wrote our things quite separately, but they definitely started off the same. Mum, no words will ever be enough today. You are my everything and the glue that holds us all together. You always knew exactly what to say, especially when I needed it most. You have always been my figure of strength, and there is so much more I wanted to share in this life with you. I hope I do you proud. You gave your heart and soul to absolutely everything you did and to everyone around you. I could have not asked for a better or more beautiful life than the one you have made for us. I know you have been tired, Mum, but you can rest now. I love you so much.
Seems to be some themes that will keep coming up here today, so excuse me if there's a bit repetitive. Before I start, I would like, on behalf of our family, to offer some thanks to all Lyn's colleagues on the night who fought to save her, the St John Ambulance paramedics who treated her, and my colleagues from Fire and Emergency who assisted them in her care. Thank you. To the staff at Nelson Hospital who gave the family comfort and provided Lyn with dignity right to the end and beyond. Our family is so grateful. There is one person, though, who we cannot possibly thank enough. Kyle, our police liaison officer who has been with us at our side right from the beginning. Without you, we would have struggled this last 2 weeks to navigate this whole process. We will forever be indebted to you. It's fair to say I somewhat idolised Lyn when I was younger. At our house, there were more kids than bedrooms, and Lyn and I wanted to share a room. When it came to choose a boarding school to go to, I wanted to go to the one Lyn went to. When Lyn became a nurse, I applied to the same nursing school. When Lyn became a traffic cop, I wanted to be, well, a firefighter. You can only idolise your sister so much. My two other sisters, Carol, Jo and I, have talked a lot over the last 2 weeks about what Lyn meant to us as a sister. The word that comes up a lot is protector. Lyn was our protector. When I was 7 and Lyn almost 12, a bully threatened to hit me with a cricket bat. Lyn picked up a softball bat and said, "If you hit him, I bet I can hit you harder." The bully ran away. Years later, when Lyn and I were hiking in the mountains, I got hypothermia, and Lyn dragged me up to a sunny rock face until I was able to warm up and continue on. Jo told me a story of a time she went to visit Lyn up at our family bach and said she wanted to go for a walk up to the power pylons up in the bush. Lyn went into the bach and brought out and gave her a broom and said, "Take this." Jo inquired, "Why, does the pylon need a sweep?" "No, there is a rather angry falcon that will dive bomb you up there, and this will help fend it off." Apparently that broom was a lifesaver. Another time, after teaching Jo to drive, Lyn went in the car with her to her driving test. On the way, Jo didn't give way to a car, nearly hitting it. With her foot firmly on a non-existent passenger brake pedal, Lyn politely inquired if she was really ready to sit said test. After passing with flying colours, Jo offered to drive home. A resounding no from Lyn indicated she may have questioned the testing officer's competency. When I was about 2 years old, Lyn, Carol and I went for a walk across the road from our house, and somehow I fell into a pond and was going under the water. I think you know where this is going. Well, you'd be wrong. Lyn bolted for home to get help, leaving me to my fate. and my oldest sister Carol jumped in and saved my bacon. No sister is perfect, I guess. Like all the Fleming children, Lyn did most of her schooling at Murchison. For the sixth form, she went to Marlborough Girls College. That was because it was not possible to do a sports degree course she wanted in Murchison. During her time in Murch, Lyn, aged 13, was chosen to represent New Zealand Girl Guides at a jamboree in Toowoomba, Australia. She was a country club swimming champ, with her specialist discipline being butterfly, a notoriously difficult swimming stroke. At age 17, Lyn applied to become a nurse. They thought that perhaps she was too young and had to get some life experience before applying again. Not to be deterred, Lyn threw herself into work. She became a housekeeper for a family with 2 children whose mother was in hospital dying of cancer. At the same time, she worked some hours for the local doctor, doing filing and office work. Sometime later, Lyn took over the managing of a local motel for a month or so, while the owners went on holiday. When she reapplied for nursing a year later, they couldn't believe how much she had done, and she was accepted for both Polytech and general nursing courses. Being Lyn, she chose the general one at Greymouth Hospital because the training was more directly working with patients. For the next 3 years, she trained at Grey Hospital, and following her graduation, did another year at Grey, doing 6 months in theatre and 6 months district nursing. While in Greymouth, she played top-grade softball in a local league. If some of you remember from an earlier story, Lyn did show some early promise with a softball bat. After Greymouth, Lyn moved back here to Nelson Public Hospital, doing 2 years there and specialising in cardiac care. It was then time to travel, and while travelling around Australia, she ended up in Port Hedland, a town of some 15,000 people, 17 hours drive north of Perth, where she worked for about 2 years at the hospital, working closely with, but not actually flying with, the Flying Doctor Service. It was while Lyn was in Port Hedland, our parents received a phone call from the traffic department asking if she was still interested in joining them. When Mum rang her to ask, Lyn was on the first plane home to begin training, graduating in 1986, being stationed in Auckland. It was while in the traffic department, Lyn met her future husband, who she was to marry sometime later, and they were to have the 2 amazing children who are with us here today. The move from traffic cop to police officer occurred in 1992, when the 2 services merged. It was actually sometimes easy to forget Lyn was a cop. Not in a bad way. She threw herself into that job and at times went over and above with her commitment to it. But when she was off duty, she never really discussed it much. Not with me, anyway. She was always so busy with other pursuits and wanted to talk about those and inquire how our lives were going. Lyn never sought accolades. She gained many awards during her time in the police force, but conveniently always had something else to do or somewhere else to be when the award ceremonies were on. In fact, her children at times had to trick her into going. I don't believe she thought she didn't deserve awards. I just think she believed she didn't deserve them any more than the team around her that made her recognition possible. As has been said a few times today, Lyn also avoided the limelight or publicity. The fact that she has become an historical figure is going to annoy the hell out of her. Our family will never be the same again, but we are determined to survive this. If we don't, then Lyn's life and all she stood for will have been in vain, and we won't let that happen. I saw Lyn 2 weeks before she died at our parents' house. We talked for about half an hour about things. When it was time for her to go, we did what we always did. We hugged and I said, "See you, sis." And she said, "See you, little bro." Then she left. I didn't know it was goodbye.
Okay. The last time I spoke to Lyn Fleming was December the 10th, when she called me in the office for just a quick chat about netball. The 2024 season had finished 3 months earlier, and the 2025 season was, give or take, about 5 months away. We chatted for 62 minutes. And when I say we chatted, I think I managed to get about 5, maybe 6 sentences in there. Such was our dear friend's absolute love and passion for the sport of netball, and for the young women she helped realise dreams for over 10 years at Nelson College for Girls, and for 3 decades prior to across the region. My name's John. I'm the Director of Sport at Nelson College for Girls, or NCG if you like. And Lyn and her wonderful partner in crime, Faye, have been our senior A netball coaches at Nelson Girls for 10 years. They've overseen the team's promotion to the Women's Premier competition in Nelson, and despite many teams and clubs trying to knock them off, they have remained there for the entire decade. She has taken our Senior A team in its various incarnations across the years to tournaments around the country, who travel at her own cost and annual leave. The team consistently sits inside the top 12 netball schools in the South Island, and although the personnel has changed across the years, markedly, there are 2 consistent figures on the team bench every year: the loud, bubbly, brash, and hilarious Faye, and the quiet, meticulous, perfectionist mama bear of our netball program, Lyn. Our coaches across all sports at NCG are volunteers. Some give an hour a week to coach on game day, others take training sessions during the week as well, depending on the level of the team they coach. In the frantic world we live in, we're incredibly grateful to anyone who gives even a few minutes to help our young people on the path towards their dreams. So imagine then, if you can, the dedication, passion, and selflessness required of a volunteer to not only spend 5 or 6 hours per week training and coaching our Senior A team, but also manage the Senior B team, manage our Year 9 A team, assist in our trial process as a selector for all our age grades, help other coaches with their learnings, and work tirelessly generating funds or funding opportunities for our young women that might miss out on netball opportunities due to circumstances beyond their control. The Bank of Lyn was legendary. That was our Lyn. When you think about the physical time spent and her list of accomplishments in our netball community, it isn't difficult to describe the respect, the admiration and love the Nelson netball community has for Lyn Fleming. What is difficult to articulate is the impact that she had on her players as human beings, as people. The sheer volume of letters, phone calls, messages and visits from not only the girls Lyn coached years ago, but their parents as well, speaks volumes of the impression she painted on those young women. Parents of young women 7, 8 years since moving on from Nelson College for Girls, talking about how much Lyn taught their daughter and how she helped them grow into the wonderful women that they are today. She taught them about netball, sure, and she was very, very good at it. Hundreds of people I've spoken to in the netball community speak of her netball brain being the best around, and her ability to see things within games that others couldn't was legendary. But I think netball was more than that for Lyn. I think netball was a vehicle she used on the road towards her main passion. In her love for netball, I think she found a place where she could genuinely help as many young people as she possibly could to become better at the sport of life. She taught them about respect in her deadpan, some might say blunt, attitude towards training sessions and games. She taught them about humility, about how to look after teammates when they were down, or how to gently bring them down if they were too far up. She taught them to smile in the face of adversity, like sleeping on the floor of the Cheviot Hotel on the way back from Christchurch when the team got snowed in, and that you're only as strong as your next challenge, not the previous one. And she taught them to love what they were doing, from the sparkle in her eyes every time she walked into a gym or a stadium. She used to talk to me about players all the time, not about netball, but about how they were growing in character and personality, and how they were learning to express themselves in their own manner, not what they thought others wanted to see. She loved helping young people. She loved it. And if a wee bit of netball knowledge was sprinkled in there along the way, then even better. That was our Lyn. She was the best of us, and she is irreplaceable. Her wit, knowledge, love, and purple puffer jacket stay with our girls forever. Lyn Fleming was an incredible coach to hundreds of young women in the Nelson region, and she was a pretty damn good netball coach too. So on behalf of Nelson College for Girls, Waimea College, where she coached previously, and Nelson Netball in general, thank you, and we love you.
And now we will begin the formal tributes. We're going to start with Richard Chambers, the Police Commissioner, then Tracy Thompson, the District Commissioner, and lastly Dave Gibson, retired Inspector and Lyn's long-term colleague and friend.
The 31st of December 2024, Senior Sergeant Lyn Fleming started her shift in the same way she had many times over the last 38 years and 7 months. At the start of shift, Lyn produced a range of snacks for her colleagues to help keep them going through the New Year's Eve night shift. Lyn cared deeply about her staff. And as she got changed into her uniform, which she wore with pride, she commented on how sore her feet would be at the end of the night. Lyn was a visible leader out there on the front line with her people. There was also a conversation about policing New Year's Eve. Senior, surely at 62 and after nearly 4 decades of policing, you don't have to do night shift New Year's Eve anymore. Lyn loved her job. Her commitment was unwavering, but yes, maybe soon it would be time for a break. To Lyn's family, Mum and Dad, Ray and Colleen, husband Bryn, son and daughter Aaron and Raina, brother and sisters Woody, Joe and Carol, thank you. Thank you for your love, support and the belief you had in your daughter, wife, sister and mum, just like we did. Thank you for supporting Lyn through her 38 years and 7 months of service to policing and the community. Behind our uniforms are human beings, and we cannot do what we need to do in policing without the support of our families. Lyn began her service as an officer with the Ministry of Transport in 1986, serving in Auckland. She became a member of police in 1992 alongside husband Bryn, and they soon moved to Nelson as constables. Over the next 32 years, Lyn served on the front line here in Nelson. She was promoted to sergeant in 2003 And 10 years later, in 2013, Lyn was promoted to Senior Sergeant, and I was proudly able to support her promotion as the Tasman District Commander at the time. Lyn continued in a range of frontline leadership roles, and since 2017 has been the Area Response Manager, leading a team of high-performing sergeants and constables on the front line here in Nelson. Her service came to a tragic end as a result of a senseless and unprovoked attack of violence. I have read Lyn's personal file. After 38 years and 7 months, it is big. It is full of goodness. Letters of thanks and acknowledgement from members of the community, families, children, for what she did for them in their time of need. Her supervisors have described her as a police officer fiercely loyal to New Zealand Police and the community, an officer highly respected by her peers, her staff, and her bosses, a person with the highest levels of integrity and professionalism, and a leader who inspires confidence and cares deeply about her team. I make particular mention of the comments of the late Inspector Tony Bernards, a high-performing, self-motivated, inspiring staff leader to allow our people to be their best. Staff welfare has always been a priority for Lyn. She was a role model and a leader of junior staff who were able to lean on her for advice, protection, and direction. In 2013, at a time when the police were going through significant change and I was here as the Tasman District Commander, I called on Lyn to help me navigate some complex tasks. I need someone who had influence, someone who had a lot of common sense, and someone whose commitment I could rely on. She got me there. She got us there. She was so outstanding that I asked Lyn if she would be interested in doing something similar, but at a national level. But I said that might require you to spend quite a bit of time away from Nelson. Her response to my offer was resounding and clear. No. I said, Lyn, why not? She said her commitment to her family, to her community, and to her colleagues here in Nelson was more important, and she was right. Lyn was a beautiful soul. She was an outstanding police officer and a leader, and someone that all New Zealanders can be very proud of. Ray and Colleen, Woody, Joe and Carol, on behalf of New Zealand Police, I thank you for helping shape Lyn to be the person that she was through her youth and her early adult years. To Bryn, on behalf of New Zealand Police, I thank you for always standing by Lyn throughout her career of nearly 4 decades. You gave Lyn the opportunity for her talents to be unleashed, and you always stood by her through the good times and the tough times. To Aaron and Raina, your mum was a superstar. As you both know, policing is tough, and we often make sacrifices in pursuit of providing a service to the community. Your mum has paid the ultimate sacrifice, and for that, I'm sorry. I know your strength will help us look after your dad. I thank my staff for the service that you provide to our country. I am very proud to lead you. I want to particularly thank staff working alongside Lyn and Adam on New Year's Eve. The actions you took to provide immediate care and support to Lyn and Adam was outstanding. I also thank the responding paramedics, fire and emergency, Nelson Hospital, and members of the community who did everything possible for Lyn. I thank all New Zealanders, but particularly Nelsonians, for the incredible love and support that has been shown at this tragic time. This love and support helps give us strength to carry on. I also thank the law enforcement family for your support. The police family has no borders, and I acknowledge the presence here today of Commissioner Rhys Kershaw, Australian Federal Police, Commissioner Shane Patton, Victoria Police, Commissioner Grant Stevens, South Australia Police, Commissioner Michael Murphy, Northern Territory Police, Deputy Commissioner Dean Smith, New South Wales Police, Deputy Commissioner Shane Chilepi, Queensland Police, Deputy Commissioner Alan Adams, Western Australia Police, Assistant Commissioner Rob Blackwood, Tasmania Police, Tracy Green, the Chief Executive Officer of the Australia-New Zealand Policing Advisory Agency. I also acknowledge the presence of representatives from the United States Law Enforcement, the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, HSI, Homeland Security, and the US Department of State. For today's service, I also acknowledge letters of condolence from the Commissioner of the RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the Director General of the NCA, National Crime Agency of the UK, the Pacific Islands Police Commissioners, and the Executive Director of Europol. I thank the presence today of the Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Christopher Luxon. Thank you for returning early from the Middle East to be with us here today. The Minister of Police, the Honourable Mark Mitchell, thank you. When I telephoned you early on that morning, 1st of January, you came off holiday immediately to be here with us. Thank you. Associate Minister of Police, the Honourable Casey Costello. Minister for Courts and Associate Minister of Justice, the Honourable Nicole McKee. Sir Brian Roach, the Public Service Commissioner of New Zealand. Chris Cahill, the President of the Police Association, and your many colleagues from Australia. Thank you. And the many other leaders, dignitaries and community here in person and online. Thank you. To my 15,000 police colleagues, thank you for the work you do and the support that you provide to each other, particularly in the line of duty. To Lyn, thank you for 38 years and 7 months of faithful service. You will be missed. The final word I read is a message to Lyn from your police colleagues across the country. Senior Sergeant Lyn Fleming, New Zealand Police QID Lima Foxtrot Echo 773. End of watch, 1 January 2025. Rest now, dear colleague, your journey is through. You served with pride in the boldest blue. For the New Zealand Police, you gave your all, standing strong through every call. Your courage, your honour will never fade. In every memory, the mark you've made. Though the line is thinner, with you gone, your spirit within us will carry on. Stand down, Senior. Your duty is done.
Tiria taku pau ma tā hoki te papa. Tiria taku pau ma tāra ki te rangi. Tiria taku pau haurua ki te wai. Me he waikamo e rere ana, ko ngā wai o mihi, ngā wai aroha ki a tātou e pai, te huringa o te tai, haere mai rā. Kawea mai ngā pare kawa, ngā roimata. Kia tangihia, kia poro akitia, te huia, kai manawa, haere mai, haere mai, haere mai rā. My name is Tracy Thompson. I'm the current District Commander of Tasman Police District, tēnā koutou. Today we are here to honour and celebrate the life of Senior Sergeant Lyn Fleming. It is my privilege to represent her colleagues and friends from the Tasman Police District. I am very grateful to have worked alongside Lyn as the current District Commander, but also when I worked in Nelson from 2001 to 2009. I've had many conversations with our people and the community over the course of the last 2 weeks. All have had amazing memories of Lyn and how she has touched their lives. Their tributes have provided great comfort for us all. Throughout these conversations, and from what I personally know of Lyn, there has been a common thread. And that is not about what we have lost in Lyn's passing, but what we have all gained by having Lyn in our lives. And that is what I want to reflect on today. Caring, strong, calm, humble and devoted are words that have been used to describe Lyn amongst many, many others. As said, she was fiercely loyal with an immeasurable sense of duty to the New Zealand Police, her staff and our communities. These words describe the qualities of an outstanding human being and also the attributes of an outstanding police officer and leader. In these qualities, Lyn has left a legacy for us all. Lyn was not a woman of many words. She showed us that strength is not always in how much we say, but how little. Lyn's office was in the heart of where her staff operate, and at times they didn't realise she was in residence. On occasion, when members of her team got a little too animated, as we are all prone to do from time to time, Lyn would quickly stick her head out of the door of her office and give her that look. No words needed to be said, the message was clear. And let me just say that a good number of the district leadership team also was subject to the look, and our response was exactly the same. It is a big reflection of the respect and mana we all had for Lyn, that this was all she needed to do to get us all back on track. Lyn was an inspiration and many aspired to be like her. She took a genuine interest in her people, was incredibly encouraging and supportive of what they wanted to achieve. In her discreet way, Lyn would never let an opportunity pass to advocate for her staff. She fought fiercely for them and cared deeply for those in her charge, nurturing them on and off the job. Rank didn't matter. If something was needed to be said for the safety and welfare of her team, she would voice it. Lyn had their backs. She really had their backs. Many have shared with me stories of Lyn's caring and kind nature. I've lost count of how many times I've heard the phrase, because of Lyn. Because of Lyn, you have learnt how to do your job well. Because of Lyn, you joined the police. Because of Lyn, you stayed in the police. And because of Lyn, you wanted to be a leader in the police. Lyn was the longest serving member of the Nelson Bays area leadership team. She used her considerable expertise and experience in organisation, planning and logistics to ensure the response team in the wider area ran smoothly. She was unflappable and calm under pressure. She could always provide a robust solution to any problem her or her team faced. Quite simply, there wasn't much that Lyn didn't know about policing in Nelson Bays. Lyn also managed, placed and took care of our many new constables coming to Nelson. She did so in her own way and always with consideration with what was best for them and their skill set. To her, they were never a cog in the machine, and her desire to get the best for our policing team in Nelson was undeniable. Lyn's strength was also her great relationships with our partners. Her background in nursing made her sympathetic to health, and she was extremely well respected by all of their departments, especially mental health team. Only recently, Lyn represented Nelson Police and worked with health to pilot a new mental health response initiative. Early indications are that the initiative is tracking positively, and much of this will be thanks to her expertise in this area. She was also a humble and private person who did things for others because she genuinely wanted to make a difference. She never wanted or sought any recognition for her efforts or accomplishments in her work or her involvement in the community. Lyn spent most of her policing career in Nelson, not only helping to keep this community safe as a police officer, but raising a beautiful family and significantly contributing to the broader community. To her family, to our police family, to the Nelson community that she has served for so many years, her devotion was unwavering and she gave us her all. I am comforted in knowing that Lyn's legacy will forever live on in the many officers that sit before us today. Her qualities will be alive and well in all of us as we continue to deliver the services that our community so heavily rely on us for. I am also comforted by the fact that Lyn has brought our team even closer together. I've seen an amazing display of unity over the past few weeks, and I think Lyn would be pleased to see us come together and support one another so well. As I said at the outset, we have gained so much for having Lyn in our lives. She was a cornerstone of our team, a trusted friend, and an exceptional police officer. My heart goes out to Bryn, Aaron, Raina, Ray, Colleen, Mike, Joe, and Carol, who are also missing a cornerstone of their family as well. We grieve for you and we grieve with you. Please know that your police whānau will always be here for you. Lyn will forever be in our hearts and minds as we continue to do the job she was so devoted to. We miss her deeply. I te maraikura. Kua tū koe ki te kai o te waka. Lyn, you have stood at the stern of the canoe. Kua Pākehā koe e ngā ngaru o te wā. You have faced the challenges whilst serving your community, and you have upheld your promise to keep the peace. Haere, haere, haere o te atu. Rest in peace, Lyn.
I've had the absolute privilege of knowing Lyn, Bryn, Raina and Aaron for the last 30 years. I've worked alongside Lyn and Bryn, and more recently with Aaron. Working with Lyn, regardless of the situations we found ourselves in, there was always time for a smile or a laugh. And putting aside the tragic reason we're all here, she would find it absolutely hilarious that I'm standing up and talking in front of more than 3 people. She may also be a little bit nervous about what I might say. Lyn wouldn't want a big fuss like this. It's not her. She'd be the first to do it for someone else. But she was very humble. And that said, she would be so grateful for the turnout today and the support. She would also be so appreciative to the community and all of you for the love and support you've shown to her family. I once asked Lyn how she met Bryn, and she said Bryn came to pick her and two others up and take them to the first station at Takapuna. She only remembers his dirty boots, and he only remembers a 6 foot or nearly 7 foot tall bloke beside her. Luckily for Raina and Aaron, they started flatting together and the rest is history. Now, I may not be the most politically correct person in this room. In fact, I'm pretty sure of it. And sometimes some of the expressions that have come out of my mouth may not necessarily be reflective or consistent with the views and opinions of the New Zealand Police. Lyn was very good at keeping me in check. Usually after a smile or a laugh would follow a very slow shake of her head and a calm and somewhat monotoned, "No, David." Policing requires you to make sound decisions based on the information you have at hand at the time. On more than one occasion, I've said, "Right, here's our plan." Then I've looked across and seen the disapproving expression on Lyn's face, followed by the slow shake of her head and that calm and somewhat monotoned, "No, David." Then we'd follow a better plan, often hers. Never once do I recall Lyn swear nor raise a voice. She never had to. She wasn't interested in rumours or gossip, and she would only discuss sensitive work matters if you needed to know. She was a very quiet person, but when she spoke, it screamed volumes, and it was absolutely worth listening to. And for the welfare of her staff, she was fearless in confronting district commanders and other commissioned officers if she believed there could be changes for the better. Her cunning technique was to stand in the doorway of your office. This ensured she both had a captive audience and that she could get her point across and be more successful. Lyn could stand in the doorway for a very long time. And on reflection, the Stockholm Syndrome springs to mind. It's been said, but she was the matron of the station, the mother figure, and the oracle. If she didn't know something, she would go out of her way to find out. She would also go out of her way to help other people be the best they could be, no matter what that looked like. Not only did she take an interest in the staff, but she also took an interest in your families and your children particularly. And for events like New Year's Eve, she would always be out in the streets with you to ensure that you were supported. It was always about people. And behind every major event, without being asked, Lyn would embed herself in the background, ensuring there was sufficient staff, that people were properly equipped, fed and rested, as well as ensuring that regular policing duties would go on. The people she supervised on section loved her, and because it was her, they would work late, no questions asked. She was a consummate professional, and her integrity was beyond reproach. Occasionally, during some conversations she would overhear, instead of openly expressing her view of support, a simple smile would let you know that she agreed. She loved her job, all those that she worked with, including those people outside the police, and especially those in the other emergency services. From this hideous event, it's humbling that you've all pulled together and supported each other as a wider family. Lyn has left a massive gap in all our lives, but none more so than her family. To Ray and Colleen and your family, and to Bryn, Raina and Aaron, I say we will always be here for you and that she'll never be forgotten. Comms from Nelson. Please show call sign N QID LFE 773 Senior Sergeant Lyn Fleming for the last time. 10-0.
At times like this, it's a simple pleasure and a great comfort to take some time to reflect peacefully on how Lyn has touched our lives and to do her the honour of her, remembering her through the tracks of her years. So now that we've heard the stories and the memories, let's take some time to allow those words to sit quietly with us as we take a moment to look at Lyn's life through the lens, along with some well-chosen music. At the conclusion of this service, you are invited to join together for light refreshments out in the foyer. This is a chance to reminisce and let the memories and stories flow, using your own words to create the masterpiece of Lyn in full colour. A family will walk with Lyn and then rejoin you shortly after, and there'll be a version of the photo memories there to inspire you. After Lyn is carried out, can I ask police personnel, past and present, and first responders, that upon exiting the building to please move quickly to form the Guard of Honour, lining up both sides of Parapara Road. Other invited guests are respectfully requested to move to the grass area located on the eastern side of the courtyard. There were several registers of attendance at the door as you arrived, and I'm sure it was a virtual traffic jam out there and you probably didn't get the chance to sign one, but perhaps if you put a little effort in and make sure you do before you go, it would be a wonderful way for the family to be able to look back on who has shared today with them once the inevitable fog has lifted. You can imagine their minds have been in a turmoil. I do also want to just say it's difficult to express in words what it means to Lyn's family that you are all here today. They are deeply, deeply grateful for the love and the support that's been given to them in their time of loss. They are so very thankful to the people who have quietly attended to the practicalities of life, especially those of you who have generously assisted with food and bringing today together. You've all helped them in so many ways, and for that they are deeply appreciative. As we close, we all have a picture in our minds of how life is supposed to play out. Death's got a place, but it's supposed to be much, much later. But hopefully, we can find comfort in today that a woman who had 62 short years lived her life with amazing goodness, with tenacity and skill. And I believe that Lyn would want little of us now, but perhaps to follow her example, which was to seize life with a good heart and good intention. To be kind, to challenge ourselves to be the best that we can be, but to also encourage others to be the best that they can be. To appreciate the little things in life that make it such a treasure, a view from a high point, or seeing life through the eyes of those at a low point. Those are just a very few of the many lessons that we must have learned from Lyn in her life. And with the love and the support of friends and family, we can move through these past sad times, create positive results out of that sadness, results that will honour Lyn's life and are born out of all of the love, the humanity and the community represented in this gathering here today. I would like to take a moment to speak to the most important people in Lyn's life, to her family. To you, Bryn. They say that you don't know what you've got until it's gone. But the truth is, you too knew exactly what you had. You just thought you would never lose it. All of us here today, sharing your love, admiration, pride and respect for your Lyn. And I believe that we will all help in keeping her spirit alive. I know that at times you did take a back seat while she devoted herself to her career and netball, but you were the essential backbone, always there, supporting and appreciating her stellar efforts. And I say this completely and utterly, the heart of the nation stands with you. To you, Aaron, Raina and Emerson, you are the ones that are left with the honour of carrying on Lyn's traditions, no matter how big or how small. The memories that you have of your mum are just so rich, varied and vast, all created for and with you. And I hope the advice, the guidance and experiences shared with her will be at the forefront of your minds going forward. I know you can see in yourselves similarities that you shared with your mum. Be afraid. Be very afraid. To Ray and Colleen, no parent ever expects to farewell their own child, and we all offer you our deepest sympathy. I know that the memories of your daughter that you'll carry in your hearts will be ones of pride, that as a woman, she did herself proud, but as your daughter, even prouder. To Carol, Woody, Joe, a very, very special branch of your family tree has fallen, along with an integral part of so many of your childhood and adult memories. I think at times you'll feel incomplete, as though you yourselves had lost a limb. So remember the tender seedlings that are growing from your family tree and nurture them well. To Lyn's other family, her police family, both present and past. Yours is a unique relationship, and with Lyn even more so, because she was so deeply invested in each and every one of you. I know the halls and the corridors of the station will be resonating with her silence. So can I ask for the last one to leave at night? Can you turn the lights off for Lyn, please? To all of you, to Lyn's friends, fellow sports fanatics and wider community, her wingspan covered so many areas of life, and her loss will be felt everywhere she touched. So remember, Lyn, when you encourage and support others to reach their potential, and then her heritage will live on. Can I ask those of you who are able, as a mark of respect, to please stand? Lastly, to you, Lyn, wife, mum, daughter, sister, devoted colleague, loyal friend, an absolutely stellar human being. We are glad that you're among us. Your life we honour. Your departure we reluctantly accept. Your memory we cherish. And sorrow at your death, but in gratitude for your life and for the privilege of sharing it with you. Rest now at the end of your days, and rest in the hearts and minds of all you love. And we will soon tenderly commit the body of Lyn Fleming for its final journey, to be cremated with earth to earth, ashes to ashes, and dust to dust. So now, Lyn, with love we leave you in peace, with respect we bid you farewell, and we release you into the warmth of our memories. And to each of you, go now with your memories into the future, and be strong and of good courage.
Okay, I'm going to move. Right? Okay, I'm going up. Breeze good. I've got lots in shop maybe. move. Three. go down the steps.
more about your relationship?
Well, as the district commander here in Tasman, I rely on the leaders across the district to get the job done that community expects. For me, Lyn was one of those people who was always 100% reliable. This is the third. Incredibly proud of my staff, not just across the country. It's getting